16 by 9, the bigger picture.
Are you in love with this boy?
She is Lauri Price, an American woman whose affair with a 16-year-old Canadian boy have sparked an international incident.
As far as Lauri Price is concerned, I think she's sick and I think she needs help.
That's all coming up on 16 by 9. Here's Mary Garofalo.
Good evening and welcome to 16 by 9, the bigger picture. It was a cross-border romance that may have crossed the line, but it made international headlines. According to police, it was the cyber seduction of a 16-year-old Barrie boy by his 42-year-old internet girlfriend. A Texas mom cops are calling a predator. It's a 16 by 9 exclusive. Just tell us what happened, Lauri. We just want to get your side of the story. Just tell us what happened. Are you in love with this boy? Are you in love with this boy? Yes or no? Did you know he was 16?
She is Lauri Price, an American woman whose affair with a 16-year-old Canadian boy and these provocative photos have sparked an international incident.
Did you know he was 16?
We traveled all the way to Houston, Texas to meet her, but she really didn't want to talk to us.
Just trying to get your side of the story.
No.
I'm worried about my child. He's still a child. Bring him home.
She is Marlene Kane, Andrew's mother, whose heart-wrenching plea to the public became a wake-up call to all parents.
I do love her so much, and that I can't do anything to help her.
He is Andrew Kane, the teenager caught in the middle of a bizarre love triangle, pitting police-proclaimed predator against parent.
As far as Lauri Price is concerned, I think she's sick and I think she needs help.
It has been a hellish year, full of pain and frustration for this mother from Barrie, Ontario. She says she watched her son go from a fun-loving teenager to a depressed and suicidal shell of a boy. She says it all started on the internet when her son Andrew became obsessed with a gaming site called World of Warcraft.
It's a war game where you become part of a guild, they call it, and they have different levels where the guild fights against, of course, other guilds. And as you conquer these other groups, you become more advanced in the game.
And did you ever have any suspicions about who these other characters were?
No, Andrew basically told me that, and I often asked actually, I asked, how do you know who you're playing with? Well, because we can see each other online, and not until February of last year did I learn that it wasn't just the boy that he was playing with.
It was then, Marlene says, she noticed some emails her son had saved.
I happened to be sitting on my computer and I noticed something called chat logs. So just out of sheer curiosity, I clicked on chat logs and discovered about 500 pages of chat logs that were very explicit in nature.
And what were you reading that got you so upset?
Just the sexual nature of them. The chat logs had a female name. It had Lauri Price's name, so I knew her name right from the beginning.
But that wasn't even the worst of it. She was stunned to learn that Lauri Price wasn't just another teenager playing on this gaming site with her son. Lauri was in fact a 42-year-old mom, an elementary school teacher with 4 sons of her own, ages 5 through 22. And Lauri was spending hours and hours online interacting with her son Andrew, who at the time was only 15 years old.
He told me the whole thing, that it was someone he met online, that she was his soulmate. He was helping her through a divorce. So we had quite a conversation right from the beginning.
And it became even more shocking when Marlene learned Lauri Price was sending her teenage son these provocative photos of herself. According to Marlene, Lauri would let Andrew select lingerie online, then purchase it so she could model the sexy underwear for him. She said this half-naked photo captured on Lauri's webcam disturbed her the most because you can see a crib converted into a daybed in the background. She assumes the photo was taken in her 5-year-old's room.
I think I went into protective mode. He had no choice at that point. about contact. He was off the computer, and that was the end of the story.
But the story was just beginning, and Lauri Price would not let international borders or even this mom get in her way.
Lauri Price got concerned that her friend on the internet had gone missing.
Lauri Price came looking for Andrew, driving 2,600 kilometers from Texas to Ontario to try and find him. All she had to go with was his first name and the city he lived in.
She was here a week. She continued to send Andrew emails, wondering why he wasn't on, and please contact me, and I miss you, I need to talk to you, I'm here. One of the emails even said she was standing outside our window.
She had your address?
She didn't have our address. This is what the email said. But, fortunately at that time, she didn't have the address, and she didn't have his last name, so she couldn't find him.
Marlene says she was terrified but felt comfort knowing that her 16-year-old son was no longer in contact with the 42-year-old alleged internet predator. And after that incident, there was no more mention of the name Lauri Price for almost a year. Her son was put into counseling, but Marlene says Andrew's life started taking a downward spiral.
Andrew was in counseling 3 times a week at the time. He may have even misled the counselors in terms of what the real issues were. And having said that, we were encouraged to give him back the computer.
And although he was being monitored carefully by his mother, Andrew knew far more about his computer than his parents did. And so he secretly went right back to his online relationship with Lauri Price. And then this past December, Marlene says her son Andrew came to her with this.
He said, do you remember my friend that I had talked to on the internet? And I said, yes, I remember. And he said, well, she's come to Canada, and she wants me to meet her in Midland. I was shocked, absolutely stunned, because I really didn't know that they were still in contact. His dad even said to him, Andrew, he said, what kind of a parent would I be, he said, if I let you go to see this person? Absolutely not. It's not happening.
But it didn't matter, because on the night of December 29th, when everyone went to bed, Andrew left.
I heard my front door unlock and the door closed.
She had picked him up?
Yes. It was like he disappeared. Just disappeared. It happened so fast. What was going through my mind was he's been lured, he's been abducted, he's been taken from my home. I felt like someone had just walked in my house and took my son.
Still to come on 16 by 9.
This is a 16-year-old boy who's never had a girlfriend. Hasn't even had a date at this point. So what's going through my mind is my son's being taken advantage of, and there's nothing I can do about it.
That's all coming up. Welcome back to 16 by 9, the bigger picture.
She was a respected teacher and mother of 4, but police say Lauri Price was an internet predator, obsessed with a 16-year-old Canadian boy she met online. So obsessed, she traveled from Texas to Ontario to be with him. We continue now with cyber seduction.
I'm worried about my child. He's still a child. Please, just have some compassion in your heart and put our fears to rest.
It was a heart-wrenching plea to the public of a mother whose teenage son just disappeared into the night with a 42-year-old Texas mom of 4 he had met over the internet.
What did you think was going to happen to him?
There were a lot of thoughts going through my mind. I was concerned that there would be harm come to him, that she would want to harm him, that she would cross the border with him, that I'd never see him again.
Marlene Kane says she was devastated to find this letter left for her by her son. It said, "Mom, I know you disagree and you're probably angry. I don't know how to explain it to you, but perhaps this letter will show you not only the commitment we have to each other, but also that your fears of her are ill-found. Like I said to you, she offered to meet with you. I got in the way of that. What person who would do me harm would be willing to meet with you?"
I later found out that he actually had counseling from Lauri on what to write in the letter. She actually sent him an email saying, "Tell your mother this." And when we compared her email to Andrew's letter, it was almost word for word.
This is the correspondence sent from Lauri's email address. It says, Start with, I'm going to be away for a week. I'm meeting someone special to me. I'm leaving you this note because I don't want you to worry. Also tell her that you tried to talk to her beforehand, but she was never available. Marlene says that line hurt the most because she says she's always been there for her son. She even called Lauri's mother in Texas.
I had a discussion with her mother the day after he went missing. She said, so Andrew was 15 when this started? And I said, well, essentially yes, in September of 2008, so he was 15. And she said, oh my God, my daughter's a predator, which kind of made me sick.
Barrie police were called in, and the search for Andrew intensified. As news of Andrew's disappearance went global, Marlene says she found Lauri's Facebook page and sent out emails to all of her friends. She says one email literally made her sick to her stomach.
He says, I had lost contact with Lauri almost a year ago. I am sure your son will return safe yet sore. This is a 16-year-old boy who's never had a girlfriend, hasn't even had a date at this point. So what's going through my mind is my son's being taken advantage of, and there's nothing I can do about it.
A 16-year-old boy from Canada is missing.
With their faces splashed all over TV, 36 hours later, Andrew was found with Lauri Price walking into a movie theater. Ironically, they were about to watch the film Sherlock Holmes. Police say Lauri had checked into a bed and breakfast about an hour north of Barrie near Aurelia, and the two had spent the night together. They were taken to Barrie Police Headquarters. It was there Marlene had a face-to-face confrontation with the woman who's only a year younger than she is.
It was very, very eerie. I remember her saying, I didn't know. And I said, you didn't know. He was 16. You didn't know he was 16. She said that Andrew was the love of her life. She would go to jail for Andrew.
And because age of consent in Ontario is 16, Lauri was never charged. Barrie Police Sergeant Robert McLeod says he felt helpless.
Believe me, it was very frustrating. We did look at a lot of different things in the Criminal Code of Canada, and she simply didn't pass that threshold to be charged.
Lauri Price wasn't charged in Canada, so she boarded an airplane headed back home to Houston, thinking she was home free. But once she arrived here, the police were waiting for her.
We had the stewardess go in and ask her to come out, placed her in handcuffs. I don't think she was too happy about being arrested.
Matthew Gray is the commander of the Crimes Against Children Task Force and the man who arrested Lauri Price.
Our laws here in the state of Texas is anybody under the age of 18 is considered a child. The young man in Canada, by her talking to him sexually explicit, which we have those conversations, she violated a law called online solicitation of a minor, which is a third-degree felony.
Lauri was charged with 2 counts of online solicitation of a minor and 1 count of enticing a minor with the intent to commit a felony. She has pled not guilty and was released on $300,000 bail. She is not allowed to go back to her teaching job or be anywhere near children, including her own 4 boys, without supervision.
On each charge, she could be up to maximum, I believe, is about 75 years. We're looking at possible federal charges through our U.S. Attorney's Office, and I believe that carries a 15-year minimum mandatory sentence.
Commander Gray says he has seen this kind of grooming time and time again with internet predators.
This relationship took a long period of time, and that's why we look at the grooming aspect of it, because the feelings that he's had over this time is something that she helped develop.
We happened to run into Lauri Price the day we interviewed police in Houston. She was here to pick up luggage and $1,500 cash police had confiscated at the airport.
$1,500.
Thank you.
It gave us a chance to try and get some answers.
Did you know he was 16? Lauri, they're painting you as a predator who lured a teenager to a hotel to have sex.
Do you know
That's
the
what
word
they're
no?
saying. I want to hear your side. You're a school teacher. You have children that have been taken away from you. This incident has completely changed your life. Do you have anything you want to say to this boy? Did you know he was 16?
The state's going to have to prove that she had actual knowledge of what his age was.
Skip Cornelius is Lauri's court-appointed attorney.
I think in this case, my client's going to be acquitted. I doubt the state will even try this case once all of the evidence is in and everything's been studied. But I've had other cases like this, older women and younger men. I mean, it just happens.
A part of me knew that it probably couldn't end well for us.
Still to come on 16 by 9.
I do love her, and especially since what we had was so great, is that seems an awfully bad way to end it, don't you think?
That's all coming up. We're back with the bigger picture.
16-year-old Andrew Kane is at the center of a bizarre love triangle between his alleged internet predator and his parents. And now, for the first time, he sits down exclusively with 16 by 9 to talk about his intimate relationship with 42-year-old Lauri Price and how he ended up spending the night in a hotel room with her. Do you think she's a sexual predator?
No, I do not.
Does that word upset you? Because it looks like you got really upset when I said that.
Yes.
It is the first time Andrew Kane has spoken publicly.
I regret that, you know, what's happening to her, but I don't regret what I did or what she did. I just really wish that, you know, it wasn't such a mess that it is.
In this exclusive interview with 16 by 9, Andrew speaks candidly about the 42-year-old mother of 4 from Houston, Texas, who police say baited the teenager over the internet and then traveled to Barrie to be with him.
I knew what I was getting into, whereas, you know, some people who the laws are obviously there to protect don't, whereas I feel that I do.
It is an interview he told us he needed to do, and an interview that his parents agreed to.
What bothers me the most about this is I'm basically on the inside of a box looking out. I'm just isolated from everything, from the police, from even the story. Up until now, I haven't really talked to anybody, and I've heard that, you know, my story is being covered by millions of people, and I'm here saying, wait a minute, no, my story isn't. Everybody else's story of what's happening to me is. I was just sort of fed up in a way with, you know, everybody saying all these things about me, and here I am like, and about her, and here I am like, you know, we were in love.
Andrew admits he was hooked on the internet game World of Warcraft, but after meeting and playing with Lauri Price online, he says he became addicted, spending all of his available time interacting with her.
The friendship that I had with Lauri was very intimate, and we were best friends, so that was my main factor for wanting to stay on so long. And I don't think I would have displayed such addictive behavior had it been otherwise.
But you were 15 when you were originally talking to her, right?
Actually, I was 15 for about the first 21 days. If only I had been born in December.
Andrew admits he became another person online, lying about his age and his circumstances. He says he's never really related to kids his own age.
I found that I got along better with a lot of those people who were older, so I myself kind of lied about my age, which sort of contributed to the problem. Everybody I talk to says, you know, I talk way older than my age, and I'm way more articulate than most kids my age, and like basically I act older than I am, even though, I mean, the last couple months, I know I haven't really been acting older than I am, but that's another story.
How old did she think you were?
20. She thought I was 20, and I was very convincing, and I'll stand by that to the day I die, that everybody thought I was 20.
So when you saw her at any time, did you tell her how old you really were?
I did not. She asked once, but I really didn't want, because I thought that if she didn't know I was, then she couldn't be charged with anything.
This was the photo Andrew says he sent Lauri where he claims to be 20 years old. Judge for yourself.
At that point in the relationship, the age was kind of not that important because we were so close and we confided in each other so much. And really we were best friends as well as, you know, partners.
Partners. You consider yourself partners? Really? That's an interesting choice of words. When you say partners, I would think You thinking long term? You're thinking marriage?
Yes, sort of. It's a long road. I don't know what the future holds, but what we had was very unique to me, and I do think that it was definitely not the average of these relationships that happen online and all of this. Sadly, I've sort of become the poster child for it.
And Andrew says the entire ordeal has caused him to go into a depression. Recently, he was hospitalized after he threatened to kill himself.
Were you suicidal?
I never intended to kill myself because I know that that would really only hurt everybody that's already been hurt. And honestly, I think I would become the poster child even more.
Andrew says the last time he saw Lauri was at Barrie Police Headquarters. He says he was taken home by his parents and not allowed to say goodbye.
We didn't get a chance to talk at the police station. Like I said, the last time we even got to talk to each other was at the movie theater, at the popcorn stand, and we never even got to say goodbye, which is something that's kind of been, it's been picking at my brain.
There's a fundamental delusion there that, you know, these two can be together, that everything's going to be okay without really, you know, thinking things through.
Bradley Dorrance works for Gamers Anonymous. He helps people addicted to online gaming. He's been working with the Kane family.
The second thing that's going on there is a power dynamic between this much older woman and this younger, inexperienced boy. And essentially, she has all the power and he has none.
How could your mother or father have prevented this from happening to you?
They tried just about everything. But I mean, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
How has this changed you as a person? Has it?
It's definitely been a very painful experience for me, but it really hasn't changed me as a person. I'm just concerned for myself and for her, and I did and do love her. It's just that I really haven't been able to talk to her at all.
Happy birthday to you.
In the midst of all this chaos, Andrew Kane celebrated his 17th birthday, just a couple of weeks after being returned to his family. He says he's counting the days until he turns 18 and can make whatever decisions he wants to.
Plan on seeing her again, yes, but I don't really know where that's going to go. I know where I hope it's going to go, but I definitely don't want this to be an end, because this would scar me for life if it was. But I do love her, and I just think that, especially since what we had was so great, is that it seems an awfully bad way to end it, don't you think?
And that's it for us tonight. If you have a story idea, just call us at 1-877-TELL-169 or visit our website at global16by9.com. I'm Mary Garafello. Thank you for watching, and from all of us here, good night.
If you've got a story idea for 16 by 9, call our tip line. 16 by 9, the bigger picture. That's a wrap.